Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. Today, I want to help you to not kill your investment portfolio and to get a little bit better returns, because what I've seen in the market, both from experience and from people yelling at me in the comments and also on the phone. I'll get to why that is in just a second. But how do you get better, right? How do you make sure that you're not working against your own interest? And there are two very, very big things that you can do right now to help to become a better investor. Now, I tell people yell at me when I was an advisor, market would tank, or sometimes they would invest in something, it didn't go the way they wanted to, and then people would call me and yell at me and say, hey, what's going on? What do I need to do? I'm losing money. Please, 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 please help. I used to get calls like that all the time. I get DMs like this all the time, and people just make their own decisions, right? And that's totally fine. But then when they don't pan out, the first thing they ask me is, well, should I sell? Should I keep? What's going on here, right? So here's what you need to know. Number one, the first thing that you need to have is a plan and a hypothesis. And these need to be very, very strong. What do I mean by having a plan and a hypothesis? Before you invest in something, don't get into it and then try and like create a reason. That's not going to help you. You want to say, I'm buying this stock because of X, and I think it is going to grow because of Z, or whatever letter is coming next, right? So good examples of this, and we've talked about this before, is infrastructure stocks. We were saying at the time, we are thinking that maybe we're buying John Deere, maybe we're buying Caterpillar, maybe we're buying whatever infrastructure ETF PAVE, for example. And we said, infrastructure bill coming out, we're going to get this stock, here's the plan, right? We had the hypothesis is infrastructure stock, therefore these stocks should go up. And the plan was buy these stocks and then perhaps sell them a year after the bill is passed or when the bill passes. Either or, but that's the plan. Some people only do half of this and say, well, I'm going to buy this stock because it's going up. But why, right? Like, why is it going up? When do you plan on getting out? Do you plan on getting out at all? One way that I do this, the easiest way, is just have a time, right? A deadline. What I do, you get the first 6 months for free, right? You get to stay in the portfolio. We get to write it out 6 months. At 6 months, we open the books and we say, all right, what we thought is either valid or invalid, you get to stay or you will have to go. And that's how it works. So I'm at least giving myself a little bit of time to allow the market to move, to allow things to dictate themselves, and then figure out whether or not my hypothesis was correct about whatever was going on in the economy. Another great example are financial stocks. Based on what we are seeing, number one, financial stocks are doing well. The hypothesis is, as the market starts to continue to open, as interest rates rise eventually, and we know they will, that financial stocks are going up. It makes sense to buy them now based on interest rates, based on what we're seeing in the economy. When would you sell? Personally, right now, I don't see an exit point. I don't think it makes sense to sell financial stocks. If they keep going up, I'm going to keep buying, right? But that's the plan. But for me, if I were to buy a new financial stock, I already own Capital One. I've talked about the ones that I like going down the line, but I would pick them up in December, figure out which one I want, 6 months later, reevaluate and see if I was correct. See if interest rates did go up. See if banks continue to go up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We can't tell the future, but that's the plan. Okay, when you don't have that, you get into it and then you start asking other people about whether you should buy or sell with your money. And that's a big problem, because I don't know your goals, right? I can give you my professional opinion. I can give you what I know about the stock, but I don't know your goals. I may not know how much you have invested in that stock. I don't know how much you have in savings. These are all questions that are really important. I don't know how much you made, right? There's so many things that I cannot answer for you because I wasn't there when you invested. I don't know what's going through your mind, right? I don't know what your personal investing plan was. And when you just throw it out there to me or anybody else, it makes it real hard for us to give you a good answer on your personal financial goals, which is not the place that you want to be, right? Which is why we're here on YouTube and teaching the right way to go about this. So you have to have, what is the plan? Why am I buying it? And what is the catalyst or the hypothesis or the reason why this is supposed to continue to rise? And this works on the opposite end too. Right now, I personally would not buy a Snapchat. I wouldn't buy Pinterest. I wouldn't buy Facebook right now. Now, if I already have it, I'm probably going to continue to hold it, assuming I've made some money. But I wouldn't pick it up right now. It doesn't make sense because of Apple's privacy rules, because a lot of the negative news about Facebook. I don't care if they change their name or not. Don't really make sense right now based on what we have. So one, the stock is not moving in the right direction. Neither of them are. The ones of the ones I mentioned, they're not moving in the right direction right now. Coupled with all the privacy rules and how Facebook has been treated, or what they've done rather, than the news is coming out, those two things say, hey, this might not be a time for you to buy right now. Okay, so that therefore I'm gonna sit out until those things change, right? But I personally, I've had Facebook for years now, so I'm locked in at a super low price. But if I were new and if I were jumping in it today or tomorrow, wouldn't be my answer, right? So you got to put those two things together. Most people don't put in what's happening with the stock, what is my hypothesis, why is it supposed to go, and continue to move forward. One concern about this is one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I don't do meme stocks, and usually why I don't do these random coins. So for example, when Dogecoin was going up, there was no real reason as to why it was going up other than people were buying it. There was no, this thing is happening and on this date, this is why we are buying more of this coin. It was Elon Musk tweeted it, everybody buy. When do you get out? Why is it going up? What is the hypothesis here? Nobody had that answer, right? At least with Shiba Inu, which is a different cryptocurrency. It's a meme of a meme. It's stupid, but people are making tons and tons of money on it. I am not investing in it. However, the hypothesis is going to get added to Robinhood on, I think, October 30th. Therefore, more people will be able to buy it, and then it's really going to go to the moon. That's the hypothesis. I can't tell you whether that's right or wrong. I don't know. We can do a whole video about that if you want, but that's the hypothesis. At least there's a little bit of logic there. Now for me, it could crash on the 30th. I don't know. Or it could continue to go up. Again, I don't know. It's harder to evaluate cryptocurrencies, even though I have a crypto shirt on, than it is for companies. But you have to have those two things matched together. Why is the stock going up? What is my hypothesis on why it's going to continue to do that? And then what is my plan to get in and get out? If you don't have that beforehand, you're going to really question yourself. And this is where step number 2 is really going to fall into play. When you don't have all of that stuff set together, then your emotions become a factor. And your emotions can really, really hurt you as an investor if you can't keep them in check and you don't have strict rules for you to follow. Why do I say that? We know for decades and decades and decades, those who are long-term investors tend to be fine. We know that every 21 days on average, the stock market hits a new all-time high. We know that if you're investing for 3 to 5 years, you have a greater than 90% chance, a greater than 80% chance, 3 to 5 years, greater than 80% chance that your investments are going to be positive. I can throw all these stats at you all day. Okay, but when the market drops, when it was dropping in September, people panicked. When it was dropping in March of 2020, people panicked anyway. Emotions don't do math. Okay, your emotions don't do math. And when you don't have that theory and those hypotheses, I guess is the plural, but when you don't have that, your emotions dictate a lot of that stuff, and you sell when you should be buying or holding, or you buy things that you shouldn't be buying, and you end up in a not so great situation. So how do you solve for the emotional part of it? Number one, going right back to what I said earlier, setting a deadline, having somewhat of a timer for when you're going to decide to make those moves. If you are looking at your account every single day, you are making moves every single day just based on how you feel that day, that ain't the place that you want to be. That's not going to be overly helpful for you. What is more helpful is to say, look, I check my investments every quarter. I check it every year. I check it every 2 months, every 6 months. Whatever works for you. That keeps my emotions in check. You see what I do on public all the time. What I'm not doing is I'm not checking my investment balance every day. I'm not. I just scroll through, I make my posts, I interact with people, and I get up out of there, right? And I invest every Friday. And that's what I do. You have never, ever, ever in your life seen me sell a single stock unless it is moving day, which is December and June, period. I don't get emotional in between time. And the reason I don't get emotional is because, number one, I'm not checking to see how much money I'm making or losing every single day. I do not do it because even I can get into thinking like, oh, I should do something. I gotta move. I don't have to do anything. I should sit back and relax and trust the research that I did earlier. And that's going to help you with your emotions and your confidence too. Because if you didn't do the research and the stock is not moving in the right direction, you panic and you make a mistake, a very costly, or could be a very costly mistake. If you've done your research, like I did for Google, and say, look, this is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to continue to go up. I'm buying, I'm holding, I'm minding my business, right? Same thing with O'Reilly's. The whole video on why I thought O'Reilly's would be a strong stock, and it has been, right? There are times where I'm not so correct, right? At one point in time, thanks today, Ford was up. At one point, Ford wasn't looking so good. It was down, it wasn't looking great, but I kept with the plan. And you want to keep with whatever plan you have. So if you don't have a plan, you become more emotional, you make those mistakes. And this is how these two things kind of connect together. Having that plan helps you to keep your emotions in check. Having rules for that plan helps you to keep your emotions in check. And when you have those two things together, you can become a much better investor and stop hurting yourself in the market. Because we already know, right? We already know that the market tends to go up. So if we know that already, right? If we know that already, all you have to do is fall in line. We had a record high the other day, even after September. Remember how bad September was and all the complaints that were happening back then? If you just left things alone, you probably would have made money. Same thing with Tesla, right? There was one point earlier this year, Tesla wasn't all that great. I showed you guys the, I don't know if it was on TikTok or Instagram, or I might have even talked about it on YouTube, where I think it was, what was it, September 30th or so, there was like $440 a share, and then by the 8th of September, it was like down to like $330, lost $100 a share within a week or so, right? But if you had a plan as to what you thought was going to happen, and you were going to hold it for a certain period of time, you would have made that money back. And those who did make that money back. And it took some time. Right? We're talking from August of last year to October of now. That's a year and some change. But you would have made that money back, right? You actually would have broken even way longer than whatever the share price is today. But that's understanding what was going on. The only reason that I continued to hold Tesla and I even bought it, frankly, was because I thought they were going to get added to the S&P 500. That was the hypothesis. That was the theory. I think once at the time, once it gets added, all these index funds have to buy it. The stock has to go up. I don't know how it doesn't. That was number one. Then number two, I said from the research that we did, and we posted the old video that what was at the time? Sometime after stock splits, usually companies continue to do better. We said that. Those were the two things that I said, this is why the stock is going to go up, or why it's going to continue to go up. I'm going to buy, I'm going to hold for 6 months, I'm going to hold for a year, come back and reevaluate. Here we are, a year and some change later, stock's done well, right? Emotionally, I'm good because I followed through with a plan and I had a good reason and hypothesis as to why that stock was going to continue to go up. You have to have that. You have to have that. It has to be something based on facts. Just because it's going up, it's not a good hypothesis of why it's going to continue to go up. That don't always work, right? You have to really match those two. Why is it going up? What is the process, or what is the thing, the tangible thing that's going to continue to support that stock, support that movement? It's why we talked about infrastructure. It's why we talk about financial stocks. It's why we used to talk about technology stocks, and things have kind of changed there, right? It's why we talk about retail and why we talk about consumer discretionary stocks, because there is a reason as to why people would continue to spend on those things. With the holiday season, with all of this stuff. The other thing too, and I know I'm going long, so I'm going to cut it off here in a second. The other thing too is when you have those reasons, those tangible reasons, when you do that research, you get your emotions in check, you also know what pitfalls could happen. I know as an investor in Target, as a husband of someone who owns Walmart, with my kids that own other companies, I know because we've researched, because we have this hypothesis that, what is it? Now I'm blanking on the word I'm looking for, supply chain, the stuff getting here on time. That could affect me, right? But I already know that. I know that right now. It's not going to blindside me. So these are the things that we're already thinking about in advance that may make Target, if Target can navigate this, we'll be fine. Target may not navigate this, maybe we won't. But we know that now in October, as opposed to looking at my portfolio in December and saying, oops, didn't know that was going to happen. That comes with research. That comes with planning. And the plan is hold through December, make a decision to keep or not, right? That comes with planning, comes with confidence. Planning creates confidence, and having all of that can help you to manage your emotions. You get those two right, you're going to be good. You're going to be good, because there are people who invest in great stocks all the time. Choosing the right stock is really not the issue. It's managing your emotions. That is the hardest part. All right, that is it for me. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all those things. Before we go, I do have a discount code for the Investors Toolkit, because tomorrow, October 29th, will be my birthday. So I already got a video that's queued up. It's really good and detailed. We're going to talk about something else. But between now and November 4th, that code is going to expire. So if you're interested in the Investors Toolkit, you definitely want to check it out. We talk about swing trading. We talk about understanding how the market works, how you can start investing with any amount of money, as well as giving you my personal stock list every single month. If you do the paid in full bonus, then you're actually able to talk with me. We talk in a group every single month. Every month. Right, we sit down and talk about the market, what's going on, what we like, what we don't like, answer questions, all that kind of stuff. And the last thing I'll tell you about discount, we have a payment plan option, which means that if you put in discount code, I think it's $320 off, because I'll be 32. That makes your first payment like $39. So you get to break it up into 4 payments. The first one is $39. If you use a discount code, that will be in the link in the description below, but it only lasts until I think like next Tuesday or so. So make sure that you use it as soon as you can. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you guys later. Bye.